I got my eye on him. Kwame, you better watch him. Wasn't he good when he did it? He got a whole thing going on over here. So I'm just so appreciative of everybody spending this time with us. I know you all were coming here to New Orleans. You thought, at least we're going to get some time to do something. And we didn't give y'all any time to do anything. And sorry, we meant to do that. And it's because we do feel this fierce urgency of right now. Something's happening in America. As we're speaking right now, it is happening. And we're on the front lines of that. And when we come together, we want to laugh, we want to joke, but we never want to forget why we're here. And Christian mentioned what happened this morning, but I asked Diana if I could actually say what she said, because every now and then I'm reminded about why tomorrow morning I got to get up and do a better job than I did today. So I'm talking to Diana. I know she stood. Just stand up again. Let's just stand up again. And then you sit back down. It's Diana, right? That's what I'm talking. I'm talking. In fact, I wasn't talking to Diana. I was doing work. And Diana came up and interrupted the work. And I was like, ooh, this sister's serious. She said, Mr. Canada, I've been trying to get to you because we're doing research, and I'm here from Memphis, and we're student researchers, and I got some ideas I want to share with you. And, you know, because what's happening in Memphis is really tough. And then they killed my sister. Wait, Diana. What did you say? What did you just say? Did you tell me that your sister was killed? She said, yes. They shot and killed her. How old? 17. So then I'm trying not to cry because she doesn't need that from me, right? But why should any of our children have to deal with that and move on with life? See, it was a thing. It wasn't that it just happened. It was after it happened, she was just moving on. Like, oh yeah, this happens. It shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen. It's happened in every single one of our, there's not a community represented here that doesn't have a Diana telling a story about something that they're going to feel the rest of their lives. And why are we allowing that to happen? And so I just want to say, we got work to do. We got work to do. So thank you, Diana. I needed to share that because I will never forget it. I will never forget it. And Christian Diana said she wants to organize young people from all over. She started with the country, and then she went to the world. Now, I don't know if I can help her with the world, all right? But we can certainly have young people here because she was just telling me what she learned from this experience of being here with everybody and getting to be with all of you all. And why shouldn't our children be able to have that experience? So then, now that's probably the only part of what I'm going to say that's going to hang together, because the rest of them are just like snapshots from my life, all right? So my wife is here, and you all may not know, but I bet anybody who's met her, they know that she's a minister, right? And there were times when I need her, because when Diana came over to me, the first person I looked for was Yvonne. I was like, Yvonne, I want you to pray with that sister, because what she's going through, she needs to know that there's a higher power out there, and she can do that. But here's the problem with my wife. She does with everybody, no matter where we go. I'm like, honey, do we have to talk to the person at the laundromat? You gonna save them too? So I tell Yvonne, okay, I know you're serious about your job, But, can sometimes, maybe it's not appropriate, that we remind everybody of the role that Jesus has played in our life. So we get invited to spend a weekend with Bloomberg and some other folk. I said, now, Yvonne, you and I both know Mike Bloomberg is Jewish. And I don't know if he's looking for Jesus, okay? Maybe we won't bring that up. So second day I'm there, I'm getting up. Mike comes out, he was like, Yvonne, I want to thank you for what you gave me. I said, honey, what did you give Mike? She was like, that's between me and Mike. I said, oh no. And then this is the one image I have in my mind. So at that breakfast, it's our last breakfast together. Mike is sitting at the table with Diana, and my wife goes over, and she just reaches over Mike and kisses him on the top of the head. I said, you can't kiss Mike on the top of his head. But that's my wife. She has been part of this partnering that we're doing. But I think that we gotta look for every resource that's available in our community. Some of it's gonna be faith. And some of it, I'm a big data person. I believe in this stuff. But this is not all about reading scores and math scores with our kids. There is a question. Did you all see those young people last night dancing? Wasn't that something? So, that doesn't happen by accident. I would challenge you all. How many experiences does your young people have in their community that allows them to feel like somebody has seen them and that they are competent? I mean, you're at the forum getting a standing ovation. Do you think those girls will ever forget that in their entire life? How many opportunities are you giving your children? I'm a big believer in sports, arts, music. All of those are tools to connect with young people. And the question is, how many of you all are making sure every single child has multiple opportunities for someone to stand up and say how brilliant they are, how beautiful they are, how talented they are. This is part of our mission. Look, it doesn't show up on the evaluation sheets. There's no place that they're going to be like, oh yeah, all the kids were able to read on grade level, and boy, could they dance. No. But if you don't understand that's how we save our kids, then you're mistaken. Those young people's lives will be transformed. I will guarantee you, all those girls are graduating college. I will guarantee you that. That's part of the mission. So, how do we make our young people feel special? How do they find themselves? How do they think, I understand, I know who I am? And let me tell you why that's so important. So when I was a little kid growing up in the South Bronx, I just wasn't very good at sports. Now later I went and played high school basketball, football, that stuff. But when I was a kid, I had no one to teach me. I had no father. I didn't know how to catch. I didn't know how to do anything. And I was one of those kids, when they choosed up sides. So now this may be a New York thing. I don't know how y'all decided who was going to be captains. But here we had to put our foot in. It was engine, number 9, going down Chicago line. If the train goes off, right? And then you would get the 2 captains, and then they would choose the teams, right? And now the best athletes went first. They'd be like, okay, I want Charles over here. And this one was like, okay, I'm going with Robert. And I'd be there like I'm here. And they'd be, excuse me, Jeff, I'm going with this guy over here. And finally, You know, it's always the last. There's no one left, and the guy's looking like, isn't there some? And he looks back, isn't there somebody? I'll take him, all right, right? And so I was just happy, right, to be there. I knew they were going to never give me the ball, right? I was going to run it. It was okay. So this is all going good. We were, at that time, we were living on Forest Avenue. Home Street, which was the adjoining block, they had the toughest kids in our neighborhood. And now, we didn't want to fight them, but we used to have challenges. And this challenge was a track challenge. So they brought their team, we had our team, and they paired up. They were like, okay, you're going to race Charles. The top guy from Home Street was a kid that we call Black Geoffrey. Now, okay, I know you're saying, y'all called him Black Geoffrey? Yes. Don't ask me why. It wasn't like, I mean, he was black, that was true. But at some point, I'm sure there was another Geoffrey, it wasn't me, that they was distinguishing. Everybody was scared of Black Geoffrey because he was the best athlete there. So no one wanted to race him. Then these Forest Avenue guys, let's have Jeff race. So who cares if he loses? He loses everything. So not going to be a problem. We know we're going to lose that race. So okay. They were like, you going to race Black Geoffrey? I was so happy to be chosen, right? I didn't care. I was like, oh, man. And they all were like, oh boy, this is going to be bad. So now this is New York City. We are living on a block, right? So we ran by the sewer covers, the manhole covers, right? You either ran one sewer or you ran two. This race was two sewers. So you had a line. They said, me and Black Geoffrey, we're there. On your mark, get set, go. We run. And I finished, and I'm looking back, and all my guys were like, I was like, what happened? Well, they were like, you won. I was like, I won. I won. They like, you. Black Geoffrey said, no, do over, right? So I was like, fine, we're going to do it over. So we get there, on your mark, get set, go. And I'm running. And I look, and they all were like, wow, little Jeff, we know who you are. I said, what? I said, you're fast. I said, I'm fast. They said, oh, you're the fastest guy on our block. So then I knew I was fast. I knew who I was. I did everything fast. I walk fast. My wife will tell you he walked fast even till this day, right? I used to eat my lunch fast. Mom. They'd be like, boy, that Geoffrey, he is fast. But y'all know I'm not kidding. I was somebody. I had a distinguishing thing about me that allowed me to have, I can't do that. Y'all know I'm in training. Did I tell you I'm fast? Right? It's gonna let people know. Being fast got me right through middle school. Time I got to high school, I don't know, everybody else got faster. But that was okay because it got me through one of the toughest parts of my life. How do you make friends? How do you connect? How is it you have some prestige? What are you doing to allow yourself to stand out? Do you know what kids do when they have no opportunity to stand out? They do things that will draw our attention to them in the most negative of ways. If you don't have kids dancing and playing, they will find out how to get your attention another way. So this issue of what are we doing to engage our young people for real? Now, I'm going to park that over here because now I have some homework. Next year, I want to hear about what you have done that you had not done before. I want to know, now, Vanessa, we know you got a promised neighborhood. Where's Dreamer? She got promised neighborhood and full service community. You have to watch that Dreamer. She taking all the federal money. It's all good. We know what this science looks like? The question is, are we prepared to embrace and do some things that we haven't done before? This is the question. Now, you can get to a different part of my life. This will come back. You're going to have to go with me on a little story here for a moment. So I've been a black belt for 40 years. I've run a school in New York. I'm not running anymore. One of my black belt students run the school. And I'm in a martial artist, and our art is Taekwondo, a lot of kicking and aerial stuff. And I did it. I'm very high ranked in our system, our Cheng Kwan system. And I fought for many years. Before I became CEO, I go around the country, and I was, ranked in the nation and fighting and stuff like that. And so you knew the other martial artists. We were a lot of kicking. When we fought, some of the Japanese stylists, they had a lot of strong punches. We fought some of the Chinese stylists, they had sweeps that would take you off your feet. And we would go out and compete with one another to see whose system was better. And we'd be like, Cheng Mu Kwan, we're the best. We'd walk around, we're bad, boy. Every system, the Japanese systems, the Chinese systems, every system, we had our flags, we had our names, we had patches, we had stripes on our belt. We walked around. And then a funny thing happened. Some folks decided, we're going to figure out who are the best martial artists in the world. They had an open tournament. Bring your Taekwondo. Bring your Kempo. We're going to see how good you are. This little skinny guy named Royce Gracie, skinny, little, he beat everybody. He was fighting people 250 pounds, 100 pounds more than him. He could beat them. All of us in the martial arts was like, what is this? What is going on? How? So then we were like, no, we got to get some people to beat them. We were looking for years. No one could beat the Gracie system. You know what it meant for all of us? We had to change. We had to change. I had been teaching this system that has been taught the same way for more than 50 years. It didn't work. We had evidence it didn't work. You go right out, you don't want to learn this kind of evidence it don't work. While you on a mat tapping, somebody choking you out. I don't think my system is working right now, right? So what does it have to do with this? Why is it a bunch of knucklehead martial artists can recognize when something is not working and change their system and go out and everybody had to change? None of us could stay the same. We admitted what we were doing was not working and we had to change, because if we didn't change, we were going to be choked out on a mat somewhere tapping. If I could grab a few superintendents and put them in a rear naked choke and have them tap out, I bet they changed then. I bet just keep doing the same thing year after year. When it doesn't work and you pay no penalty, I got a foot lock I could put on you to have you thinking differently about reading. Now, I'm just telling, y'all think I'm not joking. When there's no penalty for failure, when you can just let kids fail year after year and you don't do anything different and you think that's all right? How is that all right? If we could get a bunch of people who have been traditional in their systems, some for more than 100 years, admit, it didn't mean your whole system didn't work. It meant you had to incorporate the stuff that you had never taught your students in order to be competitive. So you know what it meant for us who ran schools? We had to learn it ourselves. We had to go back to school. I had to go back to somebody, can you show me that technique? Right? I need to learn that so I can teach my students this. in this room, it's all the knowledge we need. It's all the knowledge we need. What I don't know is, are you thinking that you have to change? What you're doing is not powerful enough. That you've got to go out and meet another leader who can help you. There's no embarrassment. There's no shame. We're all trying to figure this thing out. But this is the time right now that our community needs us. Now, I want to just close with a true story about saving kids. You don't know what's going to save a kid. Some kids, they get saved by family, some by religion. When I was starting, my birthday's in January, and for some reason, I wanted to go to kindergarten. But being your birthday in January, I didn't go to kindergarten. I'm still upset about that. I don't know why. I am. So I entered school in the first grade. So I'm in the first grade. But, I was a distractible kid. Today, they would have probably labeled me. They didn't have the labels then. But there's nothing the teacher was doing that would work for me, right? They tried the clay thing. That was fun. The finger painting, go and paint it. None of that stuff interested me at all. And I had this teacher in the first grade. She was determined to get me. She kept trying, so it didn't work. And then one day, she was reading this book to the class. It was about this guy who didn't like these eggs. And the eggs were green. And he didn't like them on a house, and he didn't like them with a mouse, and he didn't like them here or there, and he didn't like them anywhere, and he just didn't like green eggs and ham. And I was sitting there, and it hit me. I said, neither do I. And after the teacher finished, my hand shot up. I teacher. She said, what, Jeff, what? I said, could you read that story again? She said, I got you, don't I? So she read the story, right? But you ever read anything? It may be short, but you think it contains all the knowledge in the universe. I knew it all. I said, teacher, can you read that egg thing? She was like, no, Jeff, we have to move on. And I was crestfallen. And she saw it. She said, well, here, take the book home, have your mother read it. So I get the book, go home. I said, Mom, I called my 3 brothers. Y'all got to hear this story. And my mother's reading the book, and she finishes. And I say to my brothers, and they're like, what? And I said to my mom, could you read that story? I had a no-nonsense mom. She said, Jeff, I don't know where you're going with this green egg thing, but not in my house. All right? So that's okay. I go to school next day. I have the book. I say to the teacher, excuse me, can you read that? She said, no, Jeff, we have to move on. She said, well, why don't you go in the back and you read the book? I went in the back, and I read the book. Here's the thing. I hadn't been taught how to read. Now, I know you're saying, that's impossible, Jeff. Yeah, I know. When I was at Harvard, I was taught reading diagnosis by one of the foremost experts in it, Dr. Chawl, test named after her. She explained all of the science of reading. That's how people learn. That is not how I learned. I learned to read because there was something I found so fascinating that I had to have it. I had to get that thing, and I didn't stop there. I did the green eggs. I did Bartholomew and the hat and the cat. I did everything. And in the first grade, I went running to my mother. I was crying. I said, Mom, I'm only in the first grade. I've already read all the great literature in America, right? And she said, no. There are other poets. And my mother turned me on to Langston Hughes and Countee Cullen and the young boy in the Bronx, Diana. I was seeing things that would destroy the soul of a young person. We were experiencing things that were just unimaginable. And when I was at my lowest point, I would go in my bed with my book of poems. I had an anthology, And I would leaf through that book until I found a poem that would soothe my soul. And there's no denying poetry helps save me. We don't know what'll save a child. How many opportunities are you giving your children to figure out what they need to save themselves? When you get the right thing, you don't have to worry. That child will want it, they will do it, they will practice it, they will love it. And if they don't, it's because you haven't exposed them to enough materials. So we have our work cut out. I'd like to hear next year. This is what we're doing new to save our children. Since I saw you last, and I'm hoping everybody's going to be here. Y'all stop me the hallway. Since I saw you last, this is what we're doing to save our children. And we're going to collect that information, and we're going to share that information. And here's my last challenge to you all. We're building a team. We're building a team. And sometimes you have, a team that stays in one place, and sometimes you have a traveling team. Remember y'all play sports? Y'all know what a traveling team is? That's the best, right? Is you bring your best and you take them on the road, because you're not going to spend a whole bunch of money on people who ain't going to play, right? We're building a traveling team. There are places in this country that no one of us is going to be able to solve. That we're going to need the best of what everybody in here has to offer. And we're going to have to all go into that place and work together to solve that problem. That's a traveling team. But to get on that team, you got to have a game, right? Because I'm going to ask you, where you at? What you doing? How many kids are you saving? And those of you who are prepared to join with us, we're going to come together and we're going to save these children all over this country. Diana, you've inspired me today. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be better tomorrow. We're going to keep at this until we never hear one of our kids have to make a statement like that. And I need you all to be with them, all right? God bless you all.